Hey guys, this is Matt with Works. Today we're going to do something a little different and assemble the Yukon 60-inch 3-drawer workbench from Harbor Freight. Let's get started. We'll start by unboxing, getting all of the parts separated that are labeled so that we can easily find them. We'll also find the instructions and all the hardware that goes to it. Here I separate all the hardware. I use clear solo cups so that I can see all the parts. Makes it a little easier to find it whenever you are assembling. Note to self, grab a new razor blade whenever I do this next time. I think I used the dullest one I had. Now that I have all my parts separated, I picked these Allen wrenches up from Harbor Freight as well to make it easier to assemble this project. Now to start the assembly process. We'll start with assembling the bottom shelf using the connecting nuts. The connecting nuts will be disassembled. The nut will be placed inside of the cross brace with the line being horizontal. That way the bolt can be threaded into it. They're a little tricky to get lined up, but once you do, go ahead and lightly tighten them. Don't tighten them down all the way. This way you can slide this shelf in later on. Here's a close-up of the nut with the horizontal line in the correct position. Once both cross braces are in place, you can start by putting in your shelf. The shelf will go into the dados that are already inserted into the cross braces. This can be a little challenging. As you can see here, it falls apart. The bolts have to be loose enough to be able to accept the piece, but tight enough not to completely fall apart. What I found is if you tighten it up on one end, you'll be able to slide it in place and then pull the ends together and tighten the other side. It doesn't say this in the instructions, but it does make it a lot easier for you in the long run. So now you line it up in the dados, and yes, sticking your tongue out like that does help. But once you get them lined up in the dados, you'll tighten your piece up and lock it together. We'll now grab the sliding partition, make sure that we orient it in the correct position with the front face. We'll align the dowels with the dowel holes, and this will allow us to screw it in place. We'll use the 4x30mm wood screws to fasten it to the tabletop underneath. 6 of these screws total. You want these snug tight, but you don't want to over tighten them. Next, you might need some assistance to put the legs upside down onto the tabletop. or you can be hard-headed and do it yourself. Align the front with the front, and it should drop down in place in the slots. Once you get that in place, you'll need your 6 by 50 millimeter wood screws to fasten the legs to the top. Again, buying these hex head adapters really made short work of this. Now to assemble the mid-cross brace. This gets assembled with just 2 screws on either end with pre-drilled holes. Now for the vise assembly. The set screw on the end of the ball thread has to come out, go through the hole. When I'm assembling this, remember that your table is upside down and that the holes in the vise have to go up, or actually they'd go down to the top. Don't do it upside down like I did the first time. Put it in correctly. You'll thread it in. We're using the vise handle until it gets to the 2 holes for the rods. Slide those in by lining them up and continue to slide it all the way in until you thread it across to the next section. There you'll put back in the set screw to make sure that you don't overextend this again. As you can see here, the holes are on the bottom and I have to take it back apart and do it again. Now that I've fixed my mistakes, I'll go ahead and insert the set screw to make sure that when extending the vise it doesn't come all the way off. Hold your handle when you're screwing this in so that it don't sit there and spin when you're using your drill. Not that I did that, but yeah, do that. Now it's time for drawer assembly. You'll need a panel 11, panel 12, a front, and a back. If you've assembled one drawer, you've assembled them all, but they have pre-drilled screws holes for you. Be sure that you align the drawer slides in the correct orientation and that the dados all line up for the bottoms to be slid in. The bottoms are wrapped up in visqueen. Go ahead and take it off, and they have a velvet side that goes towards the inside of the drawer. Be sure to slide it in the correct orientation, and then using the pre-drilled screw holes, screw it down to the drawer back. After sliding it in, be sure that it's square before screwing it down. This way, your drawers will be square. It'll slide in a lot easier. Now to put the handle on. Put the handle on using the provided bolts and line up the holes and screw it in. Now slide the drawer slides into place. And there's a working drawer. Continue this for the next steps to all 3 drawers. Now let's go over what it does. It has a lockdown vise to lock down your piece so that you can work on it. It also has additional pegs so that if you wanted to use them from the top, because the vise is flush, you can lock down from the peg to peg, locking your piece to be over top of your bench. Don't worry if you have a few extra parts when you get done. Harbor Freight has included a couple extra parts for those that just happen to lose things. Keeping them in the clear solo cups makes it real easy to find them. The dog holes are 3/4 inch. They work with any standard tool that supports a 3/4 inch dog hole. These are Armor Pro inline clamps. Well, that's about it, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good one.